Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm Rabbi Jonathan Blake. I'm so happy to share the Bima tonight with Cantor Amanda Kleinman, Cantor Isaac Sonadasor. We got a lot of cantors at Westchester Reformed Temple. And Phil Fisherman, who is the cantorial intern of our congregation and a cantorial student at the Debbie Friedman School of Music of the Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion in New York. And these incredible musicians who are here to make our cantors even more amazing than they already are. Pete Malinverni plays piano, Idan Sandhaus plays flute, and Jerome Morris will lift us up through percussion. We're also joined on the Bima tonight by Warren Haber, our temple president, and we are so grateful that we're together tonight, whether we come here breathing a sigh of relief or a sigh of grief. We're all in this together, and that's what it means to be a kihila, a sacred community. We're also joined by our live web streamers, and we wish you Shabbat Shalom as well. Would you please take a moment to enlarge and enhance your sense of community by meeting somebody you've never met before or whom you have not seen in a long time? You're going to have to get out of your chairs to do that, and when we start singing, you can return to your seats. A week ago, this 6:15 start time was actually 7:15, and that's why it's already really dark out there, and will perhaps be even more meaningful that the first act, the first religious commandment, the mitzvah that we fulfill on Shabbat is to light candles. Sadly, before we are able to kindle lights for Shabbat, we must acknowledge the blue lights that continue to provide this eerie glow from our Bima. These are to remember that even as we pray tonight, there are hostages still in Gaza. On this, the 399th day since October 7th, making tomorrow another grim milestone in a year and more filled with grim milestones. And as if that weren't hard enough to acknowledge, of course, tonight we are also commemorating Kristallnacht, which is the infamous Nazi November pogrom that took place over this Shabbat date, November 8th and 9th in 1938, in which, with the full cooperation of the police and just vigilantes and hooligans from across German society, Jewish businesses, homes, and synagogues were ransacked, Jewish people were assaulted and even killed. And I am sure that you have seen the many different articles covering what has happened in Amsterdam, and although all of the facts are not quite clear, what is clear is that violence was perpetrated against people who came to support Israel, Maccabi Tel Aviv, in a soccer game. And it appears to have been a coordinated and premeditated attack. There have now been discovered social media feeds inviting people to participate in a day of hate against Jews. This pogrom, even as we think of a pogrom from almost 90 years ago, what can we do? We can condemn violence, of course, and affirm that we stand strong against anti-Semitism, whether it comes from the far left or the far right. It is a force united in its malice toward our people. And we can stay strong by remembering that we serve a transcendent purpose, which is to bring light and joy and love into a world that is deprived of light and joy and love. I'm grateful that Tyler Ullman and Zoe Curtis, who will be celebrating Bar and Bat Mitzvah tomorrow, are here tonight with their families and can be the instruments of kindling light. So we would love for Tyler and Zoe and your families to come forward at this time, join Cantor as we kindle lights for Shabbat.
Oh, hear my prayer I sing to you. Be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you. Let us light these lights and see the way to you. And let us say, Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you. And let us say, Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And let us say, Amen.
So Zoe and Tyler, we're so proud of you. Of course, we affirm tonight that wherever Jewish people are, they should be safe and protected. But what we especially wish is that every young Jewish person growing up feels not just safe, but proud, and joyfully proud of being Jewish. And that's why we're making such a mountain out of this little moment. When you kindle light, what you're really saying is, I'm proud and I'm joyful to be Jewish, and I can't wait to share my tradition with my friends, with my family, with my people, with my community tomorrow. We hope it's a blessed day of much joy that will make you smile whenever you look back on it. Mazel tov. Shabbat shalom. Thank you. We'll continue now on page 138. Join in welcoming Shabbat with the words of Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi is a reenactment of a spiritual wedding between the Jewish people and the Sabbath. And so we do a symbolic welcoming of the bride. And of course, whenever the bride walks into the room, everyone stands. So at the end of the song, when I gesture toward the door, I'm not asking you to leave. I'm asking the Sabbath bride to come in and celebrate Shabbat with us.
Shabbat
So we have stood for the Shabbat bride, who tonight was played by Freddie Finkelstein. Welcome, Freddie. And we'll remain standing for our call to prayer. Baruch Hu is on page 146.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed. Our Torah commands us to love, ve'ahavta, in only 3 different instances. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, you must love Adonai your God. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, you must love your fellow as yourself. Ve'ahavta et hager, you must love the stranger. Our Torah is reminding us that these words we recite each day, and you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might, aren't meant to encourage love of the divine in a vacuum. They are meant instead to help us cultivate a deeper love of our fellow human beings, all of us created in God's image. In the Jewish tradition, love is not a feeling so much as it is an orientation, a trait that requires constant affirmation of the infinite worth of every human being. To harm a single human being is to do irreparable damage to the entire world, because, as our tradition teaches, for the sake of that one individual, the entire world was created. Tonight, we replace the traditional words of the Ve'ahavta with the words Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, a reminder that to truly love God is to continue to demonstrate our love for one another. Page 152.
going to read responsively in the middle of page 157 before we offer Micha Mocha in song. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then we shall rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. We also want to acknowledge that this week Phil successfully completed an important rite of passage in his cantorial studies by offering his practicum. I understand that you were joined by Cantor Kleinman and by Cantor Sonadasor as well, and so we're so happy that you were able to achieve this milestone in your cantorial studies, and now back to work. Page 160, Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim Hashkivenu shelter of your peace over us. והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים, שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We'll take the next few moments of private prayer. You may choose to remain standing if that's your custom. You may choose to take your seats if that is yours, offering prayers either from the Siddur or from your heart. Once again, Shabbat Shalom. I'm grateful to stand before you on this Shabbat that has been marred by the pain of the attacks in Amsterdam, by the yahrzeit of the Kristallnacht pogrom of 1938. This is also the Shabbat that anticipates Veterans Day, so we're coming up on a holiday weekend when themes of national service and sacrifice naturally come to mind. My remarks tonight, however, are mostly a response to the election. I formatted these remarks because it works so well for me on Rosh Hashanah in the form of a letter. Of course, for my Rosh Hashanah sermon, I had a whole year to write it, and this one, 72 hours. But this is a letter to my nephew, Samson. It's really nice that my sister and brother-in-law are here. Samson and his dad, I understand, are traveling upstate right now, but I actually sent the letter when I finished the sermon at 5:48. I'm happy to share it with all of us. Dear Samson, I wouldn't blame you if you'd rather think about sports or music or video games or even school, anything but the election of 2024. And still, I hope you'll indulge these few words from your uncle. 2024 is the last time you will be a bystander to a presidential election. Today, you are a sophomore at Mamaroneck High School. In November 2028, you will presumably be a sophomore in college. I also voted in my first presidential election my sophomore year, in 1992. And I remember how thrilling it felt to participate directly in the project of American democracy. It still thrills, whatever the outcome. I'm excited for you to experience this in just a few years. Between now and then, I hope you will give serious thought to what it means to be an American Jew, and how you will grow into this identity, because that is who will cast his vote in 2028. I believe it is an extraordinary privilege to be an American Jew. It is a heritage that came to you, not by choice, but which you must now affirm for yourself. This is the essential promise you made a little over 2 years ago when you spoke about Jewish adulthood, maturity, responsibility, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, Tyler and Zoe, but all the stuff every bar and bat mitzvah says, but which tends to remain a promise only partially fulfilled until later in life, if ever. In any case, if the history of human adolescent development is any indication, I feel confident that the next 4 years will prove formative for how you will choose to show up as a grown-up in a reeling world. I'm writing this letter to you the week of Parshat Lech Lecha, so naturally I seek guidance in these words of Torah. Our portion revolves around the figure of Abraham, his journeys, his family, his adventures and trials. Mostly, though, this is a parsha about self-discovery, character formation, and moral courage. God's first words to Abraham are Lech Lecha, which give the portion its title. Idiomatically, we translate Lech Lecha, go forth, but the rabbis read these words literally, Lech, go, Lecha, unto yourself. God sent Abraham off to discover a new land, a new religion, a new people, yes, but also to discover Abraham. After self-discovery, everything else would follow. You too are entering an age of self-discovery. With adolescence comes the realization that not every adult can be trusted or believed, not every authority should be followed. Politicians, professors, parents, and even well-meaning uncles who happen to be rabbis may have their own interests and agendas that are not in line with your emerging moral sensibilities, values, and priorities. I am not recommending dismissing these voices out of hand because in the main I like to think that the grown-ups in your life do have your best interests at heart. but increasingly, you'll have to decide for yourself what is best. And as you do, as you make your own introspective Lech Lecha journey, I hope you will center your heritage as an American Jew in your emerging character as a source of moral courage. I hope you will invest time and thought and effort to study our history, tradition, and moral priorities, which anchor our experience as American Jews. I hope you will internalize that your Jewish heritage is not an old scroll to be dusted off and paraded around for ceremonial purposes, but rather an Etz Chaim, a living tree of immense beauty, wisdom, and spiritual nourishment. I hope you will remember that you are part of a people whose story runs 3,000 years deep, as wide as the globe, and whose roots are planted in the soil of Eretz Yisrael, our biblical homeland, which for all its difficulties and dilemmas is still home to half of your global Jewish family, whose destiny is inextricably bound up with your own, and whose thriving as a vital, secure, and democratic Jewish state, essential to the Jewish future, is up to us. And as a sidebar that's not in my letter, I will be leaving on an interfaith clergy mission to Israel tomorrow night with 6 rabbis, including our own former associate rabbi, Rabbi Reeser, and 6 wonderful non-Jewish clergy colleagues from across Westchester County. And I hope, Samson, that you will remember that your American Jewish heritage has allowed your Judaism to thrive here in a country founded on the precept of religious freedom for all. Your American Jewish heritage confirms that immigration is a source of national strength and pride. Your ancestors, all of my great-grandparents, came here because to be a Jew in Russia at the turn of the 20th century was either a dead end or a death sentence. They came here to escape anti-Semitic mistreatment, violence, and pogroms, the likes of which, unfortunately, we see repeating themselves in our time. Your great-grandfather, my Pop-Pop Aki, he was Grammy's father, fought with the 1st Marines as a combat medic in Iwo Jima and Okinawa, believing rightly that there was no dissonance between being a devoted Jew and a patriotic American, no matter one's political party. Your family continues to demonstrate that civic engagement is a Jewish value. Aunt Kelly spent all of Election Day as a poll worker. Her small contribution toward ensuring the free and fair elections that stand as the cornerstone of American democracy. She told me Tuesday night how moving it was to see parents taking their kids to vote, how proudly a number of first-time voters, some of them advanced in age, cast their ballots. She heard tons of different languages, saw people of every skin color and cultural background, each bringing their own distinctive voices and values to their votes. You, Samson, are an American Jew with values rooted in these symbiotic identities. I hope you remember that when we talk about our values, especially as proud American Reform Jews, we mean all of the following in no particular order: honoring the dignity of every human being, protecting the rights of the disenfranchised, whether of women to bodily and reproductive autonomy, or of refugees to safety and opportunity, or of the poor to health care, or of minorities to equal treatment under the law. Recognizing the centrality of Israel to Jews and Judaism. Combating the ever-metastasizing evil of anti-Semitism, whether here or abroad, whether it comes from anti-Israel activists on the left or white nationalists on the right. Protecting our precious environment and natural resources. Providing tzedakah for the needy, curbing gun violence to save lives, cultivating our education and critical reasoning, laboring for the greater good, living and loving beyond ourselves and our narrow self-interest. If I had to boil my list down to one line, I'd choose a precept from Pirkei Avot, an almost 2,000-year-old collection of Jewish wisdom. Bamakom she'en anashim yishtadel lihiot ish. In a place where no one is a mensch, be a mensch. Still, the way I see it, we Jews ought not be one-issue voters, because Judaism is not a one-issue way of life. Of course, what we may choose to emphasize from a long list of authentic Jewish values remains a personal choice. But there is no single best or overriding Jewish value or priority. We should never be demeaned for how we vote or for which political party we favor, so long as we act with Jewish thoughtfulness and integrity. I know, Samson, that to you 4 years must seem like really, really far away. There are 1,000 math lessons and English essays and standardized tests to get through, a permit and a license, college visits and applications, prom and graduation, shows to perform, baseball stadiums to visit, destinations far and wide to explore. I learned just this Sunday that taking out the trash has been added to your roster of household responsibilities. So I would not wish to overwhelm you with too many other grown-up headaches. Unfortunately for you, and for all of us, the world is an overwhelming place. And often the only grown-up choice is to keep striding into the maelstrom, or at least down to the curb. Abraham's first journey, the journey of introspection, leads to his next journey, the journey for the rest of his life, which is a journey of moral courage. The ancient rabbis explained this by way of a parable. An ordinary person, they said, was going about his business, traveling from one place to another, when he noticed a castle in flames. And he exclaimed, "Why is no one doing anything? How can it be that there is no one to look after this palace?" Just then a voice called out from the highest parapet, the highest balcony, already engulfed in the inferno, crying out, "I am the owner of the palace." At that moment, the Midrash goes, God selected this ordinary person, Abraham by name, to begin the story of the Jewish people. The rabbis found that Abraham merited leadership because he saw the fire. Why is this happening, he asked. Why is no one doing anything? What makes Abraham special, in the imagination of the rabbis, is that he could see things not only for what they are, but for the way they could be. Sir Jonathan Sacks of blessed memory, who was the chief rabbi of Great Britain, explains, Judaism begins not in wonder that the world is, but in protest that the world is not as it ought to be. It is in that sacred discontent that Abraham's journey begins. Sacred discontent is what I wish for you, dear nephew. In the coming days and months and years, you will have to wade through endless streams of comments by and about our president-elect. What he said, what he did, what he posted online. I often think, by the way, that you are the smartest member of our family for your comprehensive disengagement with all social media. With that said, this torrent of rhetoric will be unavoidable, and you will have to figure out what it all means to you. You will have to learn how to tune out much of it without excusing the worst of it, particularly the coarse and demeaning language reserved for women, minorities, immigrants, foreigners, people with disabilities like your younger siblings, Jakey and Shira, people who identify as LGBTQIA, political opponents, and the most vulnerable in society. You will have to remember that in those places, wherever they have been, where hateful speech is permitted to flourish, while truth-telling books are banned, where irrational conspiracy theories are amplified while science is shunned, where policies that promote liberty are suppressed while autocratic impulses are indulged, we Jews have never fared well. There will be times when you feel powerless to make a difference. I know I often do. These are turbulent and precarious times, and I do not know any better than anyone what will happen with Israel, Ukraine, Russia, Gaza, Lebanon, Iran, China, Saudi Arabia, NATO, or North Korea over these next 4 years, or what our fractured country will do with all its festering bile and clattering discord. Personally, Samson, I wish each of our political parties and their leaders would take a big, long Lech Lecha journey of introspection, character reformation, and moral courage. But as for our journeys, Abraham inspires us not only to hope and pray for a better tomorrow, but also to work for it, which is simply another way of saying that we should plan to show up as Jews in the world at a time when the world needs us, you, me, and all of us. Most of all, Samson, you will have to remember that to be an American Jew is not only an extraordinary responsibility, but also an extraordinary opportunity to journey deep within and emerge with Abrahamic character, morally courageous, and never too content. May God bless you, and all of us too. Your Uncle John. Shabbat Shalom.
A place you do not know. Lechilah, on your journey I will bless you.
And you shall be a blessing.
And you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing.
Be a blessing, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing.
Let us take a moment to reach with prayer beyond ourselves to people in our lives who yearn for healing, those who are stricken with illness or pain, with anxiety or fear. We can hold them in our hearts tonight, all the wounded in body or in spirit. And if you would like to share the name of a person for whom you are praying for healing, I'll invite you to stand and offer those names when my eyes meet yours. Our WRT community tonight also prays for Zev Yaakov ben Brachaslava, Binyamin ben Reuven, Jeffrey Millman, Binyamin ben Mary, Chaika Chana bat Sorafegel, Sura Tehila bat Zipka, Ronnie Weissman, Ruth Vickers, Naomi bat Esther, James Broff, Elizabeth Dankner, Gloria Byron, Maurice Miller, Alan Isserlis, David Buchdahl, Chava bat Sarah, Eliyahu Chaim ben Fredel, Emerson Lorenzoni, Jake Cohen, Zachary Snedeker, Tzvi Hirsch ben Yehuda, Barry Gitlin, Beth Dworetsky, Judy Balsam, Ilana bat Shmuel, Deborah Kapnick, Sheila Freed, Jenny Kaufman, Ronald Keeves, and Peggy Saul. Misha Berach, Words and Melody for Healing, 371 in your prayer books. Turn to 586. Please rise for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tet gedula le'otzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
A meditation before Kaddish in commemoration of Kristallnacht, words by the great Hebrew poet Hannah Senish.
We remember now our loved ones who died at this time of year in years gone by, those taken in recent days, and all who have been blessings in our lives and to the world. We'd like to acknowledge our mourners in our usual custom by asking you to rise in the following order. If you have laid to rest your loved one within the last 7 days, would you please rise? Will those who are within Shiloshim, the 30 days of mourning after a loved one's death, please rise? If you are within a first year of remembering a loved one, would you please rise? And if tonight you mark a yahrzeit, the anniversary of a loved one's death, would you please rise? We also acknowledge the victims taken by the Nazis on Kristallnacht, all who have perished since October 7th. Will the entire community please stand together in sympathy and in fellowship? WRT remembers those taken in the last 4 weeks. Esra Pichon, father of Stephen Pichon, Anita Wang, mother of Frederick Wang, Eleanor Udolph, mother of Susan Goldenberg and Nancy Schwartz, and Phyllis Levinson, mother of Stephen Levinson, and those whose yahrzeit we commemorate tonight. Leon Atkind, Leon Barbanel, Nathaniel Bard, Edward Benowich, Pearl Berenson, Harold Burns, Barney Litt, Joseph Block, Martin Block, Paula Goldstein Breitner, Rose M. Broadwin, Dina J. Gold, Faith Basser Calderon, Sam Eisnitz, Milton Elgort, Manny Elkin, Doris Feigenbaum Feinberg, Stanley Franklin, Adele Friedman, Jacob Friedman, Harold Gelb, Fella German, Seidel Glasgow, Max Goldstein, Emmerich Gross, Sarah Levine, Blair Grumman, Bessie Haberman, Judy Herman, Renee Herman, Theodore Herman, Jules Jager, Betty K. Capel, Barry Klein, Irving Klein, William A. Krupman, Fay Lee, Jacques Lerner, Robert Levinson, Edna Lewis, Louis Rublin, Rosalind Meltzer, Harry Howard Miller, Richard Morse, Dolores Moser, Bertha P. Moss, Carl Fortzheimer II, Muriel Pravda, Alan Rachens, Charles Raphael, Beverly Rylander, Jake Rimland, Joyce Rowe, Eli Rowan, Linda Schechter-Giovi, Evelyn Schnur, Rhoda Zuckerman, Cassia Schleyen, Walter Schmerler, Henry R. Simon, Linda Spiegel-Hess, Arnold Squires, Gloria Stern, Sandra Talish, David Chorney, Martin Wetstein. If you have names to add to our commemoration, or if I have inadvertently mispronounced a loved one's name, please speak your names at this time. And on this Shabbat that anticipates the observance of Veterans Day, let us all give thanks for those who have laid down their lives in sacrificial service as members of the United States Armed Forces. Ti zichronam baruch, may the memories of all provide blessing. The words of the Mourner's Kaddish can be offered together on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah. V'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol be'Yisrael. Ba'galau v'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'alam alamei almaya. Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei d'kudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechemata. Ta'amiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalom araba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen.
I'd like to thank our greeters this evening, Judy Gross and Donna Shari. Hearty Mazel Tov to Tyler Ullman and the Ullman family, as well as Zoe Curtis and the Curtis family, celebrating this Saturday and coming Thursday. Sharon Shabbat tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. in person in the CJL. Torah study in person in the Sifriyah or via Zoom. We have the MRJ's Auschwitz virtual tour on Sunday, November 10th at 1 p.m. via Zoom. A blood drive the same day on the 10th at St. Pius. As normal, we have adult learning with Rabbi Blake on Thursday, November 14th. I was going to say, not sure you're doing that from Israel, right?
I can't teach this week because I'm in Israel, so we resume Talmud study online 10:15, November 21st.
So nix that. We've got the Bingo Bash, though, on Thursday at 7 p.m. And next weekend, a weekend with Uri Feinberg, who has led many of us in Israel. And he's a world-class educator and guide, and he'll be here all next weekend, so please join us. Last but not least, an afternoon of music and joy on Sunday, November 17th at 4 p.m. Shabbat Shalom.
We are going to conclude our service. Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, I was going to say one extra word about
Okay,
the
yeah, you
afternoon
should-
of
you
music
should-
and joy,
Yeah, 'cause
just so
what
that everybody
kind of
kind of
music, what
understands
kind
what
of
it is.
joy?
Yeah,
Right,
so
great.
we this year are very proud to be hosting the WJC Cantors concert, and so it's featuring cantors from all over Westchester. The cantors group is called Kol Chazanim, which is sort of a pun that means both all of the cantors and the voice of the cantors. And our own cantor Sana Desor is actually one of the co-chairs of the concert, and has put together a really beautiful program featuring the works of Jewish composers from throughout Westchester. And we hope that you will join us. You can. Where do people go to get tickets?
There is a link in the e-blast for registration, and while you should register ahead of time, no one's going to turn you away at the door.
Great.
That's
Okay,
going to be
excellent.
4 p.m. on the 17th.
Thank you. So we're going to sing a concluding song, and then Zoe and Tyler will come up and help us say blessings over our Kiddush wine and challah. We are going to conclude on page 681, and we'll repeat America the Beautiful, and we're going to sing the first verse and chorus, and then just opposite, in honor of Veterans Day, the stanza that is, "O beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life." So those are the two stanzas we're singing with choruses in between. 681. All of my clergy colleagues, will you please join me on the bima? That includes you, Rabbi Platkow. Come on up. Congregation, please rise. House, come on up and join us on the bima. There he is. It's just behind a tall guy. Yeah, come on over here. get used to using a microphone. It's all part of the big day tomorrow, too. All right, let's join together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam barei peri hagafen.
Amen. L'chaim. And Zoe?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamoti lahem min haaretz.
Amen. B'teavon, Shabbat Shalom.